All right, we are live. So thanks, David Carl. Here we go. Mastering You. This is firstly, this is our first interview podcast for 2021. So I'm going to celebrate that. Woo! And secondly, I think this is also our first kind of like business podcast. So obviously, the name of the podcast is Mastering You, and yeah, that's kind of broad. But obviously, it's along the philosophy of kind of try and master every part of your life. And we've talked a lot on these episodes. I think we're kind of closing on 60 episodes now. You know, a lot on mindset, motivation, nutrition. But there's a lot of business owners that listen to this podcast, and I'm really grateful for David coming on board. He's got a pretty cool story to share in the growth of his own business. And anyone that is listening, by the way, on the live, because we're streaming this live as well. We're sort of being a little fancy with our technology. And so if you've got any questions, particularly any like marketing questions that you want to hit David with, if you've got any struggles in your business right now, then post them below and we can get to those. But David, if we can start from the start. So, you know, you started out sort of similar to myself. I don't know too much about your backstory, but you started out just with PT and gyms and boot camps.
Yeah. I think if we start with why I got into business to start off with, because like you say, a lot of people
100%
business, and maybe people are thinking of starting their own business, but you're not sure about that leap. So I graduated from university, still in Southampton. Everybody left, and I got a job for this swim school. I'd been teaching swimming for them previously, but they took me on and put me in the office. And here I am working in the office, learning everything about business as fast as I could. But while I'm doing this, trying to run his business, the owner was actually in South America on like a 4-month tour. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm working, making this guy money to literally pay for him to tour South America. And I was like, nah, this is not fair. Yeah, I want to be able to live that life. So fast forward a couple of months, I moved back to North Wales, where I'm originally from. I was lucky enough to do coaching for Southampton Football Club. So I decided to launch a football coaching business. Looking at what everyone else was doing, I went the opposite route, and I decided to do 18 months to 6 years of age. So it was tops football, basically. Never done it before, didn't have a clue what I was doing, but made it up as we went along. And within about 6 months of that, BBC got in contact, the newspapers got in contact, and it kind of expanded. But it kind of got to a point where it wasn't making enough money to buy a house, to get a mortgage. I wouldn't have been able to put forward to an application for a mortgage and stuff. So I thought, why not see what else I enjoy doing? And I'm a relatively fit guy anyway. Football is quite a passionate thing. Let's try and do a personal training qualification. Did that, like Matt said, started doing boot camps, had tickled with Facebook ads before, but not really specifically know much about it. And Holly was getting a bit bored of being in North Wales. So we decided to move back to Southampton, where she's from. I've already lived in Southampton for a few years previously. So it was easy enough for me to transition back down there. But I had no clients, I knew nobody, I knew nothing, and I just paid about £5,000 on a credit card against everybody's advice to do a Facebook ads course. Did the Facebook ads course. Within about 2 months, I had about 20 clients on the books. And then from there, it's kind of just like snowballed into it's kind of like where we are right now.
Wow. So what space of time did all of that happen? Like, so what point did you first launch that first soccer coaching business?
Yeah, so that happened back in end of 2012, 2013. So we graduated in 2012. We moved back late to November, December-ish. So we probably say 2013 is when we started the football. We moved to Southampton back in 2013.
So how old were you then? 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, so in 2012, I'd have been 22 in 2012.
Wow. So it's always like to get to the root thing. So, you know, young guy, that's quite a big thing to do at that age. Where did that come from? Where did that sort of motivation or drive, you know, or courage even at that age to actually start something like that up?
Luckily, being back home, I lived with my grandparents. So for a lot of people, potentially, if you're thinking of starting your own business, if you're in the right financial place and you're secure in where you are, like my nan obviously wasn't going to kick us out. She wasn't going to see us go hungry or anything. So yeah, we didn't have to pay a mortgage or massive rent bills or anything. So it kind of did give me a lot more to be able to focus on what I'm doing and not stress about money or anything like that. I think the biggest challenge was when we moved to Southampton, and the type of audience we wanted to work with. Football, I knew a lot about it. I've played it since I was a kid. I studied it at university. I still play football now. So I knew that. But when we moved to Southampton and we started doing the fitness business properly, we decided to go with over 30s ladies. And I'm guessing Matt's been in the same situation. It's a case of when you want to do well, you have to be quite specific. You have to be quite niche. And obviously being a guy, not even close to 30 years old, I was hitting a target market that I really knew nothing about. You have to do a lot of research to understand their fears, their pains, their wants, their desires, and all this type of stuff. So we know what to give them and how to attract that type of people into your fitness business.
Yeah, that's a great point. Would you say that would be one of the biggest sort of challenges that a lot of businesses have, is they don't really ever quite drill down that what they call avatar, that the person that they're really targeting?
Yeah, 100%. Like, me as a person, I will always rather go and seek out a specialist, even though it will cost me a little bit more. So let's say I wanted somebody to come and clean my car. I could take it down to a £5 car wash and do it myself. I could potentially take it down to one of the car wash places where you spend £30 and you have a bunch of guys doing it all at the same time. Or I could pay 50, 60 quid, have somebody come to the house, clean it perfectly, because they always work on newish cars or something, for example. So you were paying for a specialist, really. So being able to specialize means you can charge a little bit more, but at the same time, it really pulls in more. It pulls in the type of people that you actually want to work with.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, do you think that's why that some people that maybe are very successful, like particularly coaches and PTs, that they stick to the avatar that they're most similar to, tend to do quite well because they already know who their market is. Like I for the last 7 years, at least, I've definitely been my target audience. So I understand what it's like to be a dad. I understand what it's like to be a parent who's trying to fit in fitness and trying to be healthy, but also you're juggling all of the balls that you have as a parent. But 10 years ago, I didn't get that. And when I look back and some of the conversations that I'd have with personal training clients, and they'd have to cancel sessions because, their little boy's ill, and I'd be like, "Oh, come on." you don't get it. But do you think that sometimes it is handy if you're in a business position where you are the avatar, that really helps? So let's get back to, so you did this Facebook ads course, and so what made you go from doing that to setting up your Fitpro Leadgen business? What did you just see the light? What happened there?
Yeah, so that came about, again, very similar to how most people's businesses come about. If you suddenly become good at something, you think, why not have a go at it? Or if you become good at something, people ask you for advice and tips and tricks and stuff on it. So if you are a mother of, let's say, 2 or 3 kids, people will ask you, how have you managed to brought kids up so well? How do you do it? What is it you do? Or if you're the type of person that goes on a lot of holidays, people ask you, how do you manage to go on so many holidays? Where do you find all this stuff from? And that's how it literally came about. We grew Dknine Fitness to 20 clients in about 2 months. We got to 35 clients when it was just me all by myself, and we got to a good income marker. And being in this type of industry, you connect with a lot of fitness professionals, and people just started reaching out, asking me how I was doing it, and just giving them ideas, sharing my thoughts, sharing how I was doing it. And then one day somebody turned to me and said, "Can I just pay you to do it for me?"
Yeah.
That's
And the rest is history. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean that business has grown substantially over the last 5-6 years, right?
Yeah, so it started probably a year after Dknine Fitness in Southampton. So you're probably talking 2016 is when we really properly launched it. We were just doing a few bits for a few other things. But yeah, that's when we launched it. But it's only been the last year or so where we've really split them. So the gym, Dknine Fitness, is its completely own entity with its own staff, with its own manager and everything like that. And I've been able to completely step away, have almost no involvement of staff for the weekly staff meetings, and focus purely on one business. And I think this is where a lot of people get a little bit disheartened when it comes to business, is they try and do 2 or 3 different projects at the same time, whether it be businesses, whether it be services, whether it will be e-commerce, if you're selling a completely different wide range of stuff. Try and focus on one thing first, make sure that's working, make sure you can almost step away before you move on to that next piece. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip. I think that's the entrepreneurial curse, isn't it? Like, yes, you want to have ideas and you want to try stuff, but at the same time, if you're trying 5 different things, you're probably not going to get anywhere with any of them.
And it's the same for our gym clients, and you have exactly the same formula. When a new client comes on board, we're not telling them to do the workouts, the mindset, the meditation, the nutrition, the accountability, and everything else that comes with the program. We build it up step by step, because if we go all in at once, they'll get too overwhelmed, they get too confused, they get too lost, and then we can't support them because they don't know themselves. So we build on it. First couple of weeks, let's just do your training. Then let's start working on your nutrition. Then let's do a little bit of mindset, start doing maybe some yoga, and then just start building one step at a time moving forward. Yeah.
Okay, so that was one of my questions I had, was like, what are the sort of 2 or 3 things that have had the biggest effect on your growth? So like, it sounds like focus is one of them, like being really focused and being really productive. So have you got any particular sort of strategies for that? How do you like plan your week or your day, or how does that look in your life, David?
The biggest game changer for me was when I told myself I can't do it all. And that's how we grew so quickly at the start in Southampton. If I'm going to go with the Facebook aspect and come away from being the gym owner, I would have to, as the gym owner, I would have to turn up, coach clients, support clients online. If clients are leaving, convince them to stay. That's kind of like the gym itself. But then I had to find new clients or find new prospects, chase these prospects, sell to these prospects who the prospects don't sign, try and convince them then to come back further down the line. If people are left, try and get them to come back, on top of all the other stuff that's going on. And when you're trying to do all that, again, it's like to say, if you're trying to do too much at once, you can't really be good at anything. So I thought, I will do the Facebook ads. I will outsource to one of the clients that love the program so much. You would be chasing people down, because that's what took the most amount of time. And I could then focus on just running ads to get people for Dknine Fitness and manage the Dknine Fitness clients to make sure they're getting results and not have to spend hours chasing people on the phone.
Yeah, and I guess you obviously have a passion for this, right? I mean, talking about what you just said there, I mean, that's the exact reason why we came into contact. Like, I was in that position where I was juggling too many balls, and I was finding that I wasn't able to spend as much time actually working with our team and with our clients, because I was doing a lot of the marketing. And then obviously, for full transparency, for any new members, particularly in the last 12 months, you maybe wouldn't have found us if it wasn't for David, because he's been helping LPT by their own marketing, and that's allowed me to then focus a lot more on doing what I love to do, which is, my passion is just helping people, doing coaching calls and getting them in great shape and doing content like this. So,
and that's really definitely it. You can be good at one or two things. You can't be good at several things. So the one that you're the most passionate about, the one that you enjoy doing the most, the one you really enjoy doing, focus on that. And if you have the ability, outsource the rest to somebody else. So the simple terms, if you enjoy doing dinner every night, you focus on doing dinner, get your partner or your friend or the kids to do breakfast and lunch, so you can really focus on what you actually love, what meal you enjoy making. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the meat of some sort of strategies for any business people listening. So, when it comes to marketing, whether it's a beauticians or hairdressers, or obviously we've already talked about like really drilling down who it is that you're targeting, who you want to come in, which is what we call our ideal member, isn't it, or our ideal client. What are some of the key things people need to be thinking about in setting up that what's known as the funnel or the sales funnel, to actually going from that point there where who you want to come into your facility, your hairdressers or wherever it is, to actually seeing them?
Yeah. The biggest thing that most people get confused about is the actual offer you're putting out there. So there is a term, it's called the entry offer. The best way of explaining this is when you move into a new house and you're looking for broadband for your house, you see the same company long-term. You see two companies long-term, let's say they're £50 a month and they're £50 a month. This one is just £50 a month only, but this one is 6 months at half price. Then it's £50 a month. You do the maths in your head and it's obvious which one you're going to go with, because they've got an entry offer. There's a way to get them into your business. And we all need things like this. And this is why, again, with Matt's program, everybody joins initially on a certain length of program. That's the way into his business. Then if you enjoy what you're doing with his business, you then move on to a monthly or 6 monthly or 12 monthly contract. But initially, you weren't looking to join Matt's business 12 months, or the people that have been there for like 2 or 3 years. You only thought about joining Matt to get a specific result quickly. But because Matt's done such a great job at looking after you, getting you results, providing everything you need, you're happy to stay on. So in the beauticians, let's say, and again, I'm not the type of guy, this is a home haircut because of lockdown. I know very little about beauticians. But you could be offering 50% off your first purchase with us. That's the hook. That's to get them into your business. You can upsell them to file the nails and paint the nails and whatever other service you have. So you can bump that entry offer up. But the hook, you need a hook to get them in the door. A reason for them to go to you initially rather than the hundreds of competitors you have around you.
Does it surprise you how many businesses maybe don't have that first kind of front, not front end offer, but that first trial experience?
Yeah, definitely.
Seems such a simple concept, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Remember, people are cautious. Nowadays it's getting worse and worse and worse. We'll turn ads on for Matt and people will be like, is this a real program?
Yeah.
And it's like, of course it's a real program, and we're wondering why are people asking that question. And because nowadays there's so much, in the nicest way, rubbish out there that people are scared to commit. So if you're asking somebody to sign up to a 12-month contract at the gym, or you're asking somebody to pay for their next 20 haircuts all in one go, they're not going to do this to begin, because they know, like, and trust, KLT. They have to know you, know what you're about, know what you do. They have to like you, like the stuff that you do and what you offer. And then they finally have to trust you, know that you're a safe and secure person to go into either get your hair done or plumber, or in Matt's case, the gym. And then once you've built that KLT, put them an offer out there to get them initially in, show the value that you can deliver, and they will stay with you long term.
Yeah, okay, cool. So far, step one is really like know who your target audience is. Step two is then have some form of sort of way that they can get a bit of a no-brainer trial offer. How can they actually come into the business and learn how they can know, like, and trust you? What's the step three then, David? What do people then need to do?
You then have to convince them to stay long term, and that is all about over delivering. So again, Matt will have, or maybe not have, not 100% sure on his onboarding process, but when you joined Matt's program, you potentially left with a welcome pack which you didn't pay for, you didn't expect, you didn't sign up for it. A couple of days later, you might get a thank you card in the post. Again, you didn't pay for this, but it's an added extra, and this shows then that Matt really does care. It's handwritten. He's licked the envelope, he's licked the stamp, put the stamp on there, all this extra effort just to show you how much you mean to him as a client. And this is the same for anything. And this is why the hairdressers that charge £5 for a haircut, shave straight out compared to the ones that offer you a hot chocolate or a cup of tea or a coffee, or you got them offering beers nowadays, which is even more extreme. They're the ones you keep going back to because it's an experience. They're over delivering. They're trying to convince you to want to come back instead of in, haircut, out.
That seems to be. Do you feel, David, like with this whole pandemic and the change in the way businesses operate, so many businesses are moving online, that, you know, whether it's retail or whether it's service-based industries, that's going to be the key differentiator going forwards is the experience, is the thing that really needs to stand out. You've gone are the days when gyms and hairdressers can just set up shop and they just do the haircut, they just do the gym session and then see you later. You've got to be building relationships, meaningful relationships, and really actually caring, you know, about the
and
your money.
You have to remember though, it's not just for when they become a client. We have people, and you've definitely been in this situation, Matt, where somebody's inquired November 2018. It's taken them until November 2021, 3 years to build that know, like, and trust up for them to commit. So we have to be careful that what we put out there now isn't turning people away, isn't putting people off. So if you are doing hairdressing, you have to make sure that the social media you put out is good, the shop window is presentable and encouraging to get people in, because once they're in, it's then your turn to convince them. So the experience has to be there on the front end, and it has to be there in the back end once they're in. So the best example is, let's say, Amazon. When you just load on the app, it's so easy, it's so clean, it's so user-friendly. You find the product you want, you have a look, you read the reviews, you press buy, don't need to put your card details in, don't need to put your shipping details in, you just need to press the submit and the order gets sent. It's so smooth, it's so easy to use. Then once you're in, you're like, you know what, I want it delivered next day. Let's sign up to their Prime membership. But with Prime membership, you also get movies and songs and TV episodes and next day delivery. And I think they do Kindle style books and things like that now. So they offered you in, enticed you in, got you onto their program, and then over delivering, so you never want to leave.
Cool, awesome. And so for people that, you know, that they know who they're targeting now, that they're already starting to deliver great results, but they want to make the most of it with their marketing. So what are some top tips for when people are running their own advertising, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram? And one question I did have is, what have you got any kind of predictions this year? Because obviously every year things change. So in terms of what do we need to watch out for in terms of social media marketing in 2021?
So many ways to answer this question now. So this year, in the nicest possible way to any business owner, is a write-off. So we have to conserve what we have, over deliver on the people that we currently have, and not go too crazy and bring in new people in. We are probably looking towards late, it's hard to say, you could be talking July, August before we get down to a level 2 or a tier 2 restriction. It could even be later than that. So for us as gym owners, we might be allowed to open in May, March, hopefully at the earliest, but we'll have restrictions. It might be only 8 people allowed in a session at once. It might be outdoor only. And this would be the same for salons and dentists and all these other places. There'll be booking requirements, limited numbers, and all this other stuff. So we have to figure out how we can do the best, how we can make the most of this bad situation. And then while we're figuring out what we can do with this bad situation, we're putting the systems in place so in the nicest way, when the tide turns on the tap and everyone's ready to spend and go crazy and want to meet each other again because they've not seen people in years and years and years, be ready to take these customers on. Like me, I've not had a haircut in probably 4 or 5 weeks now. The hair's going a bit crazy, so I'm going to be desperate to get out there. And if I'm on social media and I keep seeing this adverts from this hairdresser, a cool barber's giving free drinks and they're showing loads of extra benefits and stuff, it'd be like, oh, I might stick away from my usual one and go and check this one out for a change, see what it's all about.
So in terms of the social media aspect, a lot of kind of awareness posts and education posts, and I guess it's all about just continually trying to maintain that KLT, isn't it? You know,
Yeah. You just want to be
sure people don't forget you.
Yeah, you just need to be front of mind. So the minute somebody does click and they decide that they want that thing, the first person they think of is yourself. So like as gym owners now, we're providing value. So it could be top 5 tips, recipe ideas, nutrition ideas, workout ideas, showing clients success stories, doing interviews with clients, doing podcasts like this. So if somebody is following you for a while, and when you say, yeah, I can reopen, they've been following you, they've been excited, they love what you do, and then they're ready to pull the trigger and come and join your program. So just be as front of mind marketing, just always be in there. Don't go crazy. Don't show off. Just make sure you're approachable as well. Yeah.
I think in business, I don't know if you probably agree that community and culture has never been more important. Like, you know, I know for a fact that's one thing that's held us really strong during the last year at LPT is, you know, we've got such a awesome, you know, community within. Everyone's kind of on the same wavelength. We've got, you know, I mean, one of the things that we did right at the start is I set up a little WhatsApp group just to kind of support people through. Obviously, mentally, it's been a tough, challenging year. And just, you know, that alone, we do a daily challenge to keep everyone just motivated, keep them on track. And, you know, you don't have to overthink it. I think that's the lesson I had last year is sometimes as a business owner, you think you've got to come up with the new, biggest, greatest, clever idea, where actually just checking in, just the smallest things can go a long way.
Yeah, like the new stuff, the amount of new stuff you can create nowadays is limited because most stuff has already been created. So don't try and overcomplicate and try and recreate the wheel when the wheel is perfect how it is. Just trying to implement that wheel into your business so everyone knows how it works. And like you say, the community is so important. They're people that are going to support you, build friends. Like at the minute, we're so used to as humans to go out there and meet new people, but because we can't at the minute, we have to do it virtually via the social media, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, and all that. But people will interact. People will get to know each other quite quick just by messaging, just by seeing what they post, and that's how they become friends.
Yeah. So you know, how about you, David? Well, how was this crazy pandemic time? How have you found it? Do you feel like you fared well? Do you feel like what have been the most challenging moments for you?
If we could restart last year, there's a few things that I would definitely have done differently. Saying that, we can't turn back time, so there's not much we can do.
Okay. What would those things be?
Would have definitely furloughed all the staff instantly if we turn back the time. Thinking about it now, I thought I was doing a good thing by not taking the government's money for staff, trying to help other businesses out who would need more support. But when you listen to what other people are saying, they're trying to get these grants and that grants and this opportunity, that opportunity. And I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I should have just done that, because by not doing that, it really did cost us. That first lockdown, we lost 64 clients in the end of that first lockdown. So it could have really ended the business. Luckily, like you say, the support of the community, going over delivering to the clients. We had clients who kept paying the whole amount, so that kept us going just about. But yeah, that would be one thing I would have definitely changed. Second one is, you can't really plan too far ahead. My dad always says to me, just take one day at a time, and that literally is all we can do. I'm supposed to be going to watch Wales win the Euros this summer. I don't think I'm going to be able to go and watch any of the matches. I've paid for the flights, got my tickets. Thinking positively, yeah, I'm definitely going to go. Knowing what I know, listening carefully to the news and stuff. Got an email from UEFA yesterday asking about if you want a refund on your tickets. It's all pointing to no European travel this summer.
Yeah.
So don't over expect. Just go. Just take one day at a time and speak to the people you need to to make sure you're always in a positive place about what's happening that day.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm always very much an optimist as well. And, it's one of those few times where being positive thinking actually doesn't always work for you. Because every time I've felt, okay, we're good now. Like just 3 months and we'll be back. And then another lockdown happens. And then it's like, in some ways, being a positive thinker or optimist can kind of like bite you in the ass, because you're like, really?
I think for most people as well, they have to realize that the only power you have in this world is of yourself. You can't control anybody else. As much as I'd like to go and shake Mark Drakeford here in Wales or shake Boris Johnson in England to kind of sort it all out, I can't. I have no ability. I have no contacts. I have no say at all. But if I did think about it, I'd get frustrated, I'd get worried, my mind would go crazy trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. It just wouldn't be possible. So we have to sometimes realize that the only person we can actually control is ourselves. And once you kind of figure that out, you can then focus on what is actually best for you in that situation and that period that you're going through.
Cool. So just going back to the tactics side of things, you feel that a good overall strategy in general is kind of along the lines of conserving capital a little bit, so that when the good times come, we can really make the most of them.
Yeah. There's no reason why we can't set up a new project now and fully go for it. And we get personal trainers reach out to us all the time and ask about how do we set an online program up because my gym is in lockdown. The same thing I say to every single person is you have to consider what happens when the gym reopens. And if you're setting up an online program now, are you taking away from your current clients, current people who are supporting you and paying for your living? If you can't support them at the same level or have a team to support them at the same level so you can step away, then your priorities are in the wrong place. Because the minute you take the eye off that, you might got this project halfway built and then you turn around and you're like, wow, I've lost like 60% of my clients. My income is really in trouble now. And then you start squandering money on all kinds of different things to bring new clients in. So look after what you have now. If that's in a great place, you've got people looking after them, and you want to then set up another project, 100% do it. But for now, let's just hold on just an extra month, an extra 2 months. If you own a hotel, it might be a little bit longer. See what grants and businesses you can drum up from different sources and just push through these next 2 or 3 months.
Awesome. And for any business owners listening who they're like just started and they're just getting going, they're just kind of learning. There's so much to learn when it comes to marketing, isn't there? And you can go down rabbit holes, and then you get to the point where you realize, actually, I probably didn't need to read those 15 books and do all those courses, because maybe I could have found someone like you who can do a lot of it for me. What point do you feel that someone should maybe decide, I need to look for some help rather than spending all my time doing this? I should do, whether it's someone that is an artist or a creative or whatever, e-commerce, at what point should they start outsourcing that marketing?
Really difficult question. If you're a one-man band, your time should be focused on what you do best. So the time you then outsource really depends on your finances to prolong the business. We say to most people, you need probably 3 or 4 months worth of cash in the bank. So if everything went wrong, you could still survive. So if you were going to take a marketing specialist on, or someone to start doing the job so you can focus on the marketing yourself, have you got the funds in place to make that happen? If not, wait till you've either got the funds or wait until you're completely maxed out at doing absolutely everything before you can then get someone in. It's like people who are setting up a business while working full time. There's no point taking that leap from your full-time secure paid business job to do this business until both businesses either match up to earning the same, or it's just a little bit under what you're getting paid, and it's definitely safe to make that leap. Otherwise, stay until you know this business that you've set up is consistent. You're always earning that roughly the same money for 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, and then make that leap. Because once you make that leap from employed to self-employed, it's a completely different ball game. Yeah, the hours of sleep you get dramatically go down.
Well, that was my next question, actually. So how do you, what are your top tips for, how do you manage work-life balance? How do you, make sure that you're not going to hit burnout and spend every single, waking hour thinking about your business? Or do you have to start by doing that,
Yeah, when you start, you have no choice. You're all excited. You just can't wait to jump in the next day and get it all going. And that's totally fine to begin. You need to do all the tasks yourself until you build up that cash reserve. But you also need to start making sales. What we see a lot of people do, and Matt will have definitely seen this with other personal trainers, is they've got qualified. They then decide they're going to build websites. They're going to create downloads. They're going to create courses. They're going to create guides. They're going to rebrand. They're going to get a new logo, and they've spent thousands and thousands or hundreds and hundreds. And then you turn around to them and say, how many clients have you got? And this could be 3 or 4 months down the line, and you turn around and say, none.
Yeah.
Because they're not focusing on the main thing, the one thing that they need to do in their business, which is make money. Money is what keeps your business going. If you're not making money, then there's no point having the business. You could have all the logos in the world, you could have all the branding ideas in the world, all the websites in the world, but if you're not making money, then you could easily just go and get a job.
So how do you make sure that you're obviously more established now? You've got, like you said, one business that's pretty self-managing. I'm guessing you don't have to spend a great deal of time on that on Dknine Fitness, or do you?
12 to 1 every Monday.
Yeah. And so the marketing agency is where you're obviously predominantly spending all your time.
Yeah. So when before lockdown, or in the middle of the lockdowns, I'd wake up about 7:30, sit in bed for 10-15 minutes, brush my teeth, then head down to Pure Gym. Obviously, I don't train at my own gym. It would be impossible to train at my own gym. Head to Pure Gym, train 20 minutes, 30 minutes, get a quick shower, then be at work for around 9ish till 9:30. Then I more or less have a schedule, almost like your school timetable, a schedule I need to follow. If I don't follow it, tasks won't get done. My staff will be angry because I haven't got certain tasks that I need them to do, such as...
When do you create your schedule, David?
When?
Yeah.
As soon as I know what's important in the business. So yeah, it's not a
day or on the morning.
No. This is a set in stone schedule that we have to follow. So like every day I need to record a video. That's done by 10 o'clock every morning. If I don't get that done, I might have phone calls with you and other things with other people, and I won't be able to get that video done. So it's just like your calendar. You mark blocks out, so certain things need to be done at these times. The rest of it is free to do anything else that needs to be done. But
Nice.
Get those tasks done first, which are the ones that bring people into your business.
Yeah. So when did you start doing that? When did you start implementing that sort of scheduling system?
I don't know. I think we've all kind of done it. We all kind of say into our head what we need to do, and we kind of all have it in our mind. It's when you put it into the calendar, that's when it definitely makes the biggest difference. The thing I used to do before as well, I'd put it in my calendar and I'd just completely forget about the calendar, or you'd have a task that was only supposed to last 20 minutes, and you start the task and someone phones you, and then you get an email, and then you jump on Facebook to watch some cats falling out of trees, and before you know it, 3 hours have passed and you haven't finished this 20-minute task. So it is self-discipline. Self-discipline in work is key to it.
This is what I'm trying to get at, because I think I don't know if you agree, but firstly, I kind of feel like we're going through that. We're still very much in this gig economy where anyone can kind of have a side hustle now. So even if you're self-employed or you're working full time, and also obviously lots of people are unfortunately losing their jobs right now. I kind of wonder if the same thing's going to happen as what happened in 2008. Is I think a lot of people set up their own businesses after the financial crash, and I kind of feel like that there's probably never been more opportunity in some ways. But then the challenge is the amount of opportunities, and also like you say, being self-disciplined and being focused, and that, certainly something that it's like a superpower right now, I feel.
Yeah, it's like in that first lockdown, there were so many cake makers suddenly appeared on the scene. You can't blame people for having a go and trying something different, but you have to be honest with yourself. Are you doing this just for a bit of fun because it's lockdown? Are you going to do it as more as a weekend thing? Or do you probably want to make this a career? Do you want to make it a viable business, which is going to pay you the amount you need to get paid every week, every month to live the life that you want? And that is usually where most people fall off. They think they would like to have a go at it, and there's no reason they can't have a go at it. But when they don't hit the numbers they need to be hitting, they have a choice. It's like a fork in the road. Do they properly go for it, even more than what they have done before? Or do they revert back to what they know, which is working a specific job?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm aware of your time, David. I know you're a busy man. So just to kind of like finish things up,
one more thing. If people are watching this and they're thinking, what, I'd like to start a business, and you're not doing that business that you're doing now, why don't you have a go at joining somebody else's business that does that type of thing? So if you thought, what, I really like what Matt does at his gym. I like the staff. I like how it's all run. I'd love to be a personal trainer and have my own business. Then maybe reach out to Matt, work under Matt for a couple of years, have experience, see if that's the type of job that you like to do, and then have a go at doing it yourself. It's always better to
that's fantastic advice. Yeah. Yeah, I get, I don't know if you get this, David, I get quite a few people sort of every year, maybe, well, it's not quite a few, maybe 4 or 5 people ask me about, becoming a personal trainer, becoming a coach. And I almost like put them off to some extent. But I don't put them off. I think it's a great career. It's amazing to be able to get paid for helping people enjoy, the life they can live. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it is to be a PT, and people don't see the 5 a.m. starts and the 8 p.m. finishes. And really the truth of the matter is with the PT now is, you do have to make a decision to either, do I want to live that life and work those crazy hours, or do I want to become a business owner? Because they're the two different things. I think a lot of PTs don't realize that they think it's all one thing.
Yeah, we have that as personal trainers that come and work for us in the past. They've seen that we've been lucky enough to go on some amazing holidays. The gym is full. We've got some of the latest equipment that we can have, and they look at it and think, what, that's easy. And if you went to the hairdressers, you see this lady own the hairdressers. She's having a laugh, she's having a joke, she's having a great time cutting people's hair, sharing stories. But then when you actually dig into it, there is way, way more that you don't see, from creating that banner that you have behind you, to giving your time up to create this podcast to try and entertain people, to then build the trust to get them to come in, to then chasing people, and all this other stuff that goes on that people don't see beneath the surface.
Yeah, and also just would I enjoy the job? Because it can look good, but then if you're doing 5 PT sessions back to back, that can get pretty draining, right? When you're in your 20s, that's great. Like, you're loving life, you're just messing around with some kettlebells and dumbbells. It's just like brilliant. But then, it's like anything. If you do anything hour after hour, it starts to kind of draw on you a little bit.
Yeah. And Matt's setup might be the same with his coaches. So when we started, it was easy for me to work from 6 until 10 in the morning, have a couple of hours off, and then go from 4 till 10 p.m. every night. And I thought, what, when I take staff on, and I have taken staff on, they should be able to do that. It's so easy. But when you take staff on, it really does change. So now they do 3 sessions, and they have a half an hour break, and then they do another 3 sessions. Business wise, it's not good, because we could have earned extra money for that half an hour we give them off. But for them, mentally, physically, to be able to do their job to the highest standard, we've now got to consider other people. So only do 3 sessions, give them a half an hour to relax, have their food, do what they need to do, text their family back or whatever, and then jump back into it. So managing staff is also a key element to any successful business.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So just to round things up then, though, what are your big aspirations for your marketing agency going forward?
We got a web designer is our next vacancy we need to fill. So we are going to be looking for a web designer in, well, depends on how long the lockdown continues. If it carries on for quite a bit longer, we'll be putting that on pause. But yeah, we're looking for a web designer next to come on board, and then we'll be looking for a video photographer to come on board too. So we have a proper digital marketing company which
wow, we can okay. Is that the big vision that, is that like the bigger vision?
Obviously I can't share all the inside top secrets, but yeah, the aim is it's almost a one place to do all your digital marketing needs, really, from social media to website to videos to flyers to business cards, everything you need for your business, your personal trainer, for marketing. That is the aim.
So can you let us know, to the point, are you sticking with just fitness professionals, or do you work with other businesses as well, or is that top secret as well?
Yes, we work with other professionals as well. We've got dentists, window cleaners. We are trying to attract some plumbers onto the books now as well. Yeah, what we do, it works with any service-based business, or the type of setup we have works with any service-based business. And this is something else you need to consider if you are setting your business up. What other businesses or industries can you align with, or can you dive into to offer that service to? You know what I mean? You might be a car cleaner and you just clean cars, but then if you go down to your local bus company, they might have an opportunity where they're looking for someone to clean their buses, and you could hire somebody full-time to work for you that is based cleaning their buses, but you started off by just valeting cars. So there's always avenues and different areas that you can take your business into if it still aligns with your core value of why you do what you do.
And this is where the day and age that we live in is so powerful, isn't it? Because we have the ability now to connect with people like we'd never known before. Like if you wanted to connect with a local plumber before, you'd probably have to look in the yellow pages and give them a call. But now,
that's what I was doing literally before this. I've been researching a personal trainer software, find out what personal trainer software there is, jumped on LinkedIn and added as many of their employees as I can. I will then be providing general content and stuff I usually provide on LinkedIn, and the aim is in 3 to 4 months, one of those people will ask me to come and do something for their personal training software, whether it be to come onto a podcast, do some sort of training for them. We just have to be always looking to find ways into the places that we want to get into.
Fantastic. Okay, David. Well, again, thanks so much for jumping on, and wish you well. Let's hope that we can open our gyms pretty soon. And
we're considering mid-March is going to be roughly the time. 19th of February is end of half term plus 3 weeks is what Boris accidentally said in his press conference. So we're talking 10th, 15th of March is when we will be getting the go-ahead. The go-ahead will be then down to a staggered approach.
March, my birthday, so maybe I might get a birthday present.
Yeah. It'll be a staggered approach. Pubs will probably be last. Gyms may be one of the first with restrictions.
It's just a shame we never got the essential business, eh?
Yeah.
I think it was close. I think there was like 500,000 people or more. I think it went into 1 or 2 million people signed that petition. But
they were talking about it in the House of Commons this week, weren't they? About they had the lady from Pure Gym and they had a guy from the Climbing Wall Association or something to discuss what implications it's had on their business. So it is being talked about. So when they say we can reopen and they're doing the staggered approach, we are one of the first people to be staggered back into force again.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, okay. Thanks again, David. Where can people find, if they want to find out more about you or your marketing agency, or they're a plumber and they want you to sort their marketing out? Where
Yeah,
can they find you?
I don't think I have my own specific website. I think I do have something called I Am David Kyle, but I'll need to check if that even works. But
You need
otherwise,
to get a website designer to sort that out, David.
yeah. Just drop Matt a message if you want to chat with me. Drop Matt a message, or literally search for David Kyle in Facebook, and I think a picture of me with my thumb up, something like this. Something terribly cheesy. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, take care, man.
No worries, Matt. I'll speak to you soon.
And you.